name's Marie Kielty. I'm the Careers Advisor in ITT Dublin, ITT as we call it. So this is very much a generic overview of postgrad study, what's right for me, okay? Key bullet points here, what influences you? You're obviously all here today at the postgrad fair thinking about taking on some element of postgrad study. What are going to be your key influencers? The course demands, whether it's 1, 2 years, what course interests you, what courses are you staying within the area. I'm going to flesh each of these out in the coming slides now. What are the selection procedures? Is it interview? Is it application form? Are there some competency tests? Are there some practical assignments or project work that you're going to bring with you? What are the methods of study? Is it more full-time study? Are you looking at an e-learning option? Are you looking at part-time distance? Obviously the be-all, what are the job prospects out of this postgrad program, and any other additional further considerations. Okay, so taught versus full-time, or taught versus research, that's a practical consideration. Obviously within the sciences, the engineering is mostly research options, but people may want to continue in the taught fashion that you're currently undergoing as part of your undergrad studies. Full-time, part-time, distance learning. Some postgrad diploma courses can last for just 9 months. It's your typical September through to May. PhD program can last up to 4 to 5 years. So at this point, if you're considering going from your undergrad honours degree into postgrad study, what is feasible for you? Are you looking at a year-long commitment, or are you going to look at 4 to 5 years? Okay. Exams versus independent study. Do you want more exams? Are you fed up doing exams at this stage? Are you examined out? Would you like maybe the option of the independent study and consider a master's by research? And maybe that way you can get yourself upskilled, get an extra qualification, and just do it from a different approach. Obviously, the different postgrad levels are postgrad cert, postgrad diploma, your master's into PhD. Okay. Also worth considering is it time maybe to consider converting to a new area? Do you want to get a hybrid qualification? So you could continue as you currently are and stay within the same subject area at the minute. Do you want to consider a hybrid, get an extra specialism, or do you want to convert to a new area? The previous talk, if any of you were at it, was all about conversion courses. So, you have to consider where are the jobs? What are your realistic prospects? What skills do you feel that you don't have that you would like to get? What are your subject areas? What are your interests? Are you looking at only staying within the Dublin region? Are you looking nationally? Are you looking internationally? Again, what's feasible? What's practical? Funding is a huge issue as well. Okay, in the main, selection procedures are obviously critical to the success of getting a place on a postgrad program. College results are more than likely to be all and end all. In most cases, a strong 2-1 or a first class honours degree will be required for the majority of master's programs. Not exclusively, but for the majority. In some cases, a strong 2-2 will work for you. So college results will determine the success of your application. Other criteria sought may well include personal statements. Angela, our first speaker this afternoon, has gone through personal statements. I presume the slides will be available on the Grad Ireland website after these sessions. Personal statement can determine whether you actually get an offer of a place on the course. So it's a combination of factors. Again, projects from college, you may be required to bring those with you to supplement an application. Completing an application form is also another part of it. As with many graduate positions that you may have applied for graduate employment programs, completing an application form is also a critical feature. Having an up-to-date CV, how can you sell yourself, how do you separate yourself from other candidates? All of these factors have to have an edge, have to have some message that separates you from other people, okay? Sometimes there's an interview as part of the selection process, and that could be an individual interview, one-to-one, or it could be a group selection. Okay, and again, that could be just looking for a simple skill like team working, interaction, communication skills. Again, it very much depends on what the courses that you're applying for. In some cases, on the engineering disciplines in particular, there may be a skills assessment as part of the selection process to get onto the programme. Has anybody any questions so far? I'll just keep pushing forward with time against us. General methods of study, obviously full-time, part-time, distance and modular. You have to decide for you what is most appropriate at this stage. Have you had enough full-time study? Maybe part-time is more feasible. Part-time can sometimes split the cost of the course over 2 years and allow you to work part-time, generate an income, get some practical experience. In terms of why do a postgrad program, obviously one of the key considerations should be your job prospects at the end of it. Okay? Just did a little bit of research the other day in terms of, have you looked up occupational profiles for areas maybe that you're interested in pursuing? Grad Ireland, Careers Portal, Prospects.ac.uk, all of these websites carry huge amounts of information on the different job specs, different person specs, different career and graduate profiles. What skills are required for specific jobs? Will a postgrad program meet those skill requirements? Okay? Also be aware of the current opportunities. What are the emerging technologies and trends? You know, the cloud computing, if you're in the IT technology area, if you're not even in it at the minute, there are so many conversion courses. See from the labour market information what opportunities are out there and what can facilitate you getting a job on completion of your postgrad program. Always bear in mind what an employer is looking for are those transferable skills, those employability skills. So as you progress with your postgrad program, that will sit on top of your undergrad degree or qualification, continually build your transferable skills, your employability skills. And that is essentially what employers are looking for. Sorry. Okay. So popular reasons or some further considerations. I suppose, what's the practical element? How many hours a week? What kind of commitment are you looking at? Many undergraduate programs can vary hugely. An undergraduate business degree student may attend 16 hours a week class. An undergrad engineering student could have in excess of 30 hours a week. There's even diversity within that. At postgrad level, you're really looking at probably a 30-hour-a-week minimum commitment, okay? Plus private study and projects after that. So it's not for the faint-hearted. It is a commitment. It's not going to be just given to you. You will have to work and prepare for it. Will you be able to hold down a part-time job? Probably not. Maybe you could hold down very few hours, but it would be a challenge. Is it financially feasible? Postgrad fees are expensive in the main. Or is it, or should it be seen as perhaps an investment in your future? So it's a one-off cost for 1 to 2 years. There are opportunities for funding, maybe possible to get a loan, and then try and work towards your future. You would need to be absolutely committed to your postgrad studies, okay? It is also possible at this stage, if you're not sure what postgrad to do, if you would like to do one, apply, get your place. And if you're still unsure, just defer. Consider deferring your place for a year. Maybe go off and work for a year, get some work experience here, abroad, and just postpone that decision rather than just lunge into it because you feel it's something you should be doing right now. Okay, and these are the popular reasons why people would consider doing postgrad study. You enjoy the subject at undergrad level and you want to persevere, get a deeper knowledge at a higher level. You may need it to pursue your chosen career. Sometimes for some positions, lecturing, etc., you need to have a master's program behind you. So you may be required to meet your employment criteria. You may want to convert to a new area. So you may want to pursue postgrad, to upskill, to start out and embark on a new area. You may not actually be sure what you want to do. So you may be considering postgrad just for that reason, to upskill and to consider, and just to buy yourself a little bit of time. You may be considering postgrad because your lecturer has suggested it to you. Now, your lecturer would probably suggest it if they know you have strong academic skills and a strong leaning in a particular area, so it can be good advice. Also, by completing master's or PhD programs, it's an opportunity to study and or get some experience internationally, and that too can be worth its weight in gold on your CV. And perhaps the most important reason why people often undertake postgrad is to get a job, to actually become more employable and to secure a job. Benefits for you, why would you study? That's a brilliant opportunity to specialise and gain a higher knowledge, deeper knowledge. You will gain more relevant and transferable skills. So you become, by default, more employable, and that is ultimately the aim of it. You may gain some work experience as part of it. You often may work closely with some companies. You may enhance your own network and gain extra qualifications at the same time. Starting salary of people with postgrad degrees is usually a little bit higher than somebody with just an undergraduate degree. So there's a financial incentive. And as I said, it is a superb networking opportunity. Through projects, through classwork, through your lecturers, you will enhance your network of people and potential employers. Obviously, to the employer, there's also a benefit. There's the value added of the advanced knowledge. It shows an employer that you have a determination to succeed. It shows, it demonstrates initiative, a bit of get up and go, that you want to, separate yourself from other people and give yourself an edge, make yourself more employable. Some employers will even fund some postgrad programs. In the past, obviously, they would have done so a lot more liberally, but that's not to say that it doesn't happen today. So funding can come through potential employers as well. Okay, so that's just a quick recap on the different types of postgrad options. You have your higher diplomas, your postgrad diplomas, your masters through taught or research methods, and your PhD, all leading on to the next qualification. Just some stats on postgrad study, how many people actually go on to do postgrad. Did some research through the Higher Education Authority. Full-time postgrad enrolments increased by almost 32% between 2005-06 and 2009-10. And they were very much the boom years, so you'd expect to see quite an increase. There's also an increase from the university sector, so postgrad, people pursuing postgrads through the university sector increased 9.1% between 08-09 and 09-10. And for the Institute of Technology sector, it increased by 17% between 08-09 and 09-10. So people are very much pursuing postgrad qualifications. Of the 2009-10 figures, a total postgraduate enrolment of just over 35,000 between the two sectors, between the universities and the institutes of technology. And approximately 24% of those that graduated in 2009 went on to do postgrad. That's roughly 1 in 4 people that graduated went on to pursue postgrad. Okay. So just in terms of course fees, obviously, there's a lot of variation. It very much depends on the program that you're going to study and the discipline you've come from and the discipline you're potentially going to go to. College websites are a good source of information. Postgrad directory, costs and funding, there's a section in that. And there's any amount of leaflets produced by Postgrad Ireland down in the funding pavilion and also here in the CV clinic. Guides to funding here at home in Ireland, Northern Ireland, the UK and further afield. Make sure you pick up those leaflets and just get that information for yourself. Just some ballpark figures, some rough costs for the graduate skills conversion program, many of which are available at the minute. They're usually funded, part funded by the government, so the fees are just $2,750. So still a lot of money, but it is somewhat better than some of the master's programs that are available through the thought method. Some research degrees vary and they go from anything from 4,000 upwards, and some of the taught master's programs literally go from 6,000 upwards. Okay, so it's a lot of money. If you're intending to pursue postgrad, it's worth doing some decent research on. Okay, just check, are you suitable? Are you gonna, how do you make yourself prepared? How do you make your application strong, stand out from the crowd? Okay. Have you the desired entry requirements? Do you at least meet the minimum entry requirements? If a program is looking for candidates with a 2-1 or better, are you showing, is there evidence on your application that this is your track record so far that you meet those requirements? If you're sitting on a past degree and they're looking for a 2-1, save yourself the pain of applying if you're going to be well short on the academic side. Find another program that isn't as focused on academic results, and there are some of those. Have you a genuine interest in the course? If you're going to be studying and taking exams, you need to have a passion and an energy for the information that's going to be coming at you. Have you got continued interest in this course? Like, you have to demonstrate and show that you have the skills, that you have the interest. How can this be demonstrated? Through your work experience, through projects, through clubs and societies, through whatever involvement you've had in your college. There are different ways that you can demonstrate that you can meet the requirements and attributes of the application form. And obviously, to ensure that if you have completed your undergrad studies, or you're about to undertake your postgrad, that this fits into an overall plan. Where do you envisage, where do you see yourself going? So the postgrad option is one part of an overall career objective or plan. Okay, just some applications are all based on evidence, so basically make sure whatever information you have to include and give to your application form, that it's relevant, that you're going to actually supplement the information that's required and documented. Some information, a couple of slides there on postgrad study abroad. You need to start planning it in advance. If you're thinking of doing some postgrads in Australia or New Zealand next September, it's too late now to start applying. You need to plan a good bit in advance. Obviously there are fees and implications of that, but it can be a wonderful experience to get the opportunity to study abroad. There are some scholarship funding available. You'll find it on the Department of Education website, some really interesting scholarship opportunities. Short-term summer schools or longer-term for a year. A lot of different countries will offer these scholarships to students, current students in final year. So maybe just check it out, Department of Education website under students and trainees. Keep an eye on that. There are opportunities for postgraduate funding. Okay, and that can cover fees and accommodation. So don't rule it out. It works across all disciplines. So just be aware of it and keep an eye on it. Any questions? That was a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but I think the slides will be good if you want to just backtrack through it at some point.